I still thought that I needed a degree to confirm that I was somehow indeed a composer. Insert Judi Dench knighting me with a treble clef scepter. You are a composer. Hey everyone, welcome to Music Theater Sound Lab, where we talk about all facets of writing and producing great theater music like a music producer. I'm Joanna Burns. I'm a composer, singer-songwriter, and sometime actor, full-time lover of Open Windows, Hot Sauce, and Christopher Guest. I want to talk about how I got here, and how you can outsmart the gatekeeper that lives inside of you. Okay, picture it. New Jersey, 2006. I was in college wrapping up my bachelor's in musical theater performance at Montclair State. I was there on a full tuition scholarship, working a part-time job at a place called Powerhouse Studios to pay for housing, and that job was late hours and low pay, but it was effectively a themed event hall where we ran these live action game shows a la Double Dare. Anyway, back to Montclair. It was a small program. This one was maybe 15 or so people, and let me tell you, I loved singing every day, acting every day, and dancing every day. These days, I'm not sure how that program is run, but at that time it was further broken into concentrations. So you had acting, music, and dance, and I was a music concentration. That meant that aside from the triple threat prep that we all got, I got these additional classes along with the actual music majors. Now, something interesting. While yes, I was at Montclair as a theatrical performer, I had also previously been playing local singer-songwriter shows, and I needed music to sell at those shows. So quite naturally, and out of really necessity, I had started to navigate through Pro Tools and started recording singles and EPs, but I never thought any of that counted as anything, even though I was actively writing, recording, arranging, and performing with a full live band. I still thought that I needed a degree to confirm that I was somehow indeed a composer. Insert Judi Dench knighting me with a treble clef scepter. You are a composer. The limitations that we place on ourselves. The gatekeeping. So toward the end of my bachelor's, I figured if I want to actually make a go of this music writing thing, I'm going to have to go to grad school for theory and composition. But there was one actual problem: money. I just didn't have it. So grad school wasn't even a possibility for me without going into a crippling abyss of impossible debt. So after a very anticlimactic graduation, which I did not attend, with my dramatic feelings of musical inadequacy and unpreparedness, I hit the pavement and auditioned for exactly 2 professional productions. Not how you're supposed to do it. But interestingly, while that life was not for me, I still found it quite natural to continue writing. So I did. I wrote, I recorded music, played with other musicians. I spent lots of time in a local studio watching the engineer, then editing on my own time and eventually producing tracks for other artists since they liked the work that I was now doing on my own music. All the while, my head was up my old patoot, never realizing that I was creating my own education. So through various projects and adventures, I sort of inadvertently collected a number of really great mentors along the way. My friend Cooper Anderson taught me how to navigate Logic Pro for the first time. My friend Vinny Massera taught me miking techniques. Dan Romer is the reason I realized it was even possible to arrange a string quartet inside a DAW when my permission-seeking brain was telling me that I had to do it on paper first or it didn't count. I thought to myself, but I can sing the parts that I want. I really just wish there was another way. And then I watched him do it and I thought, oh, of course. I know it sounds ridiculous, but as with so many things, sometimes you just have to see it to be it. Once I knew it was acceptable, I went to town. I threw stuff at the wall. And did I make mistakes? Oh yeah. I sure did, but I kept going and doing and trying. All of that eventually culminated in a self-produced record. By that point, I had even been touring the country selling that record. But no matter how much I toured or produced singer-songwriter projects, I still felt like something was missing. Yes, that's right. The world of musical theater had never stopped calling out to me, and I know you know what I mean. Only this time I didn't want to just be in a musical. I wanted to write a musical.
A musical!
My friend Alona Castro had recently shown me her vision board, which was something I had never heard of at that time. I thought maybe I could manifest my idea, so I wrote it on a piece of masking tape, write a musical. And I stuck it to my desk at home, and honestly sort of forgot about it. But it was under my hands every time I sat and typed anything. It was in my subconscious and my periphery for months and months. And do you know that it's because of that stupid scrap of tape that I found myself saying yes to a musical web series called City of Dreams with my friends Justin Anthony Long, Johnny Lee Jr., and Ji Young Han.
I will find the courage, faith, and heart. I will find it.
After that, I applied to the BMI Musical Theater Workshop in New York, which is a training ground for both emerging musical theater composers and lyricists. And after all my doing and learning in real life, I was ready, and I got into the program, which, by the way, is completely free. No need for student loans. Since joining that crew back in 2016, I've learned so much, being surrounded by so many incredible minds, week after week, many of which did go to grad school. But the lesson that I learned personally was undeniable. There are many different and perfectly valid ways to acquire a skill, especially in art. And if I want something, I just have to start by just doing it. Now, thanks to all the doing I was forced to take on, I call myself a music producer. And not just that, a musical theater writer with the brain of a music producer, which is a qualifier I am now proud to own. I'm so grateful for all the influences that have passed through my world along the way. The times when I feel the least prepared and I get into that paralysis by analysis mode, I remind myself, I shout in my head, just do the thing, just begin, because you have no idea where you could end up. We're in this fantastic adventure together, so I'm going to put this out to you. If you're watching this and did go to grad school, what's the most important thing or things that you learned from your education? And for those of you who don't have that option, I want to do a quick recap of actionable advice to, again, help sneak past that stinking gatekeeper inside of you. Here are some ways to start doing. Number 1, start experimenting. Dive into some recording software, which is something I'm going to be sharing a bunch about on this channel. Number 2, find a mentor. This can be something that isn't super official. If a friend of yours is working on a project and will allow you to be a fly on the wall, do that. Number 3, connect with like-minded doers. There's a saying I'm sure you've heard. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you want to be a musical theater composer, surround yourself with other writers and composers. Which of these do you think would be the easiest place for you to start? Whatever the answer is, do that. Well, I hope that any of this could be helpful to you, and if you're not already part of the tribe, hit that subscribe button for more insights into the intersection of musical theater, music production, and songwriting. See ya! You may now compose music.